anything. So, they say when you say thank you, you're saying your job has just begun. So he's just patching me up, knowing that there's a
It's
lot
just
ahead.
unfortunate there are so many Chelmsford armies here. If they are Cambridge, I would have said they will give the testimony.
So I've lived in Cambridge since 1999. I came here as an international student. And I think why I'm always very moved to be part of this sort of platform is that I strongly do believe that iron sharpens iron, and I believe in this country in particular, the company you keep at the early stages would, to a large extent, determine your outcomes, and that's why I think it's very, very important that for those of you who are blessed to be on this platform, that we rub minds together. My screen is taking a while to come through, but I'll just take some bullet points of what I was taking down this morning before that comes on. I titled my little presentation called "The Road Less Traveled." The Road Less Traveled, and I think it's from one of my favorite poems, which talks about the road less travels. It talks about being two roads in that there are two roads in this sort of forest, but I took the one less traveled. The first time I shared this was actually at Cambridge University in 2016. I was speaking to the Christian Fellowship there, and I shared this for the very first time. And I believe the challenge for us is that very often people take the road often traveled. We take the road everybody else is traveling, but not many people take that route that is less traveled. And I think for you to really stand out, and I think for you to really fulfill purpose, fulfill destiny in this environment, you will need to take that road less traveled. So that poem says, I can see it on my side. It says, two roads diverge in the wood. It says, two roads diverge in the wood, and I took the one less traveled, and that has made all the difference. I took the road less traveled, and that has made all the difference. I think the fact that you're already on this call this morning or this afternoon tells me you've taken the road less traveled. Some have opted to work today, and there's nothing wrong in doing that, even though this has been advertised time and over again. Some have maybe connected, it's too long, they've dropped out. Without realizing that the people that have come to speak to them have things to do too, and the one organizing this has things to do as well. But it's about taking that road that is less traveled. So that just leads me to saying a bit about myself. So I came here in 1999 as an international student, living in Cambridge, and actually a lot of the challenges I faced as a student informed what I do today. So today I run an international college, Cornerstone College, just on the outskirts of Cambridge, catering for sixth form students, international students. I'm also a director of a consultancy company. A lot of what I do today stemmed from the challenges I faced as an international student. So in my days, some of the challenges people talk about today were all there. But the difference between those days and now is that these days you can bring a dependent, you can bring people to come and share the labor with you. Those days you only came on your own. You couldn't bring anybody to share with you. Those days you had limits to how much you could work, for example. These days you don't have limits, for example. So, these days I look at people's timetables, and those timetables allow you to work. But in those days, the timetable allow for little work, the way it's been structured. So I say that as a starting point because often we complain. And I say to a lot of my friends that let's thank God for the opportunities we have. I've met people who talk about, oh, this country, I wish I had more hours, I wish I had more this. That's true. But you realize that in the last 2, 3 years, there's been more opportunities for international students than ever before. In fact, you're one of the most blessed set of international students. So when we start to complain, we better be careful that the generations that have gone ahead of us didn't have a lot of the opportunities we have today. And I repeat that. The generations that have gone ahead of us, at least for the last 20 years, didn't have many of these opportunities we have today. So I think the first thing we must do is to have that attitude of thankfulness. Let's be thankful for the things that we're thoroughly enjoying. My screen is still messing up, so maybe the Lord doesn't want me to go that direction. But I have some bullet points which I'll quickly share. This one, I'll be very happy to share my slides with Mr. Andrew later on. The first thing I wrote down at the early hours of this morning is that your degree is not enough. The degree is not enough. So I know many of you are studying various degrees, but it is not enough. It's not enough to make the most of this experience. So your degree, is not enough. Number two is start with the end in mind. Let's start with the end in mind. What do you envisage at the end of this journey? Start with the end in mind. I think very often I meet young people, I meet students who would tell you, okay, why are you studying that course? What is your plan? And they tell you, well, I'm hoping something happens at the end. I'm hoping at the end of this course, this will happen. That is not enough. Start with the end in mind and ensure that end is a defined end. Ensure it is a defined, it cannot be a vague end. Have a defined end. The third bullet point I put down, because a lot has been said, is be prepared to pay the price. There's a price to be paid. A lot of the speakers have been saying the same thing, but I wouldn't deceive you that there's a price to be paid, and there's a price you keep paying to get there. So be prepared to pay the price. The next thing I wrote down this morning is that you also need to have a mindset shift. There has to be a shift in our mindset. When I plugged in, when the speaker before the last speaker was sharing, she was talking about mindset. Maybe the way we do things, where we're coming from, it's very different from the way things are done here. So let's be prepared to have a mindset shift. The next one is that you also need to have a culture shift. You need to have a culture shift. I remember when I first, came to study in the UK, I dealt with some things differently. It was the first time in my life I saw, people kissing publicly and, you know, two guys expressing emotion in the public. And, my Nigerianness will get me to start criticizing the way they're doing things. But I didn't realize that for me to make the best of this society, I also needed a culture shift. If I'm operating in this environment from the lenses of where I'm coming from, then I would have a very bad experience. I'm not saying embrace everything done in this environment, but at least look at it from their own lens as well. So there must be a culture shift. Expand your horizon is my next point. Expand your horizon. Try new things. Travel to new places. Try new food. I have some Nigerian friends who've been in the UK for the last 18 months, and all they have is beans, gari, and mala. They've never tried anything else. And I wonder how those kind of people would perform in an interview where food had to be shared. If all you are eating is the thing you're eating, well, I'm not saying there's anything wrong in your home food, but sometimes you might go for an interview and there's lunch break, and then you're saying these things look green. We don't eat this kind of leaves where I come from. That's a failure in some aspect, particularly if the job involves you going on meetings, corporate meetings, for example. So try things. Let there be a broadening of your horizon. Next to that is grow your network. There's that saying that your network is your net worth. Grow your network. You can do that at university. You can do that at such a program like this, connecting with the speakers. You need to grow your network. You are where you are today because of the people you hang out with in particular. So in order for you to move to that next level, you need to grow your network. I've also written up as part of trying new things, make friends outside your nationality. Make friends outside your ethnic groups. Make friends outside your religious groups. I'm a Christian, I'm a person of faith, but I also believe it's important that we expand our horizons. I have a friend, for example, who got a job in the Netherlands. In his own days, you couldn't, companies were not sponsoring, you had to go back home. But it was his course mate at Durham University that his father was maybe the manager or the top director at KLM. And in their class, his friend told him, by the way, my father heads KLM. And he works in the Netherlands now because of a course mate that was not Nigerian. Yes, have people from your country, have this kind of network, but you have to have friends who are outside this network. You need to have other nationalities, other ethnic groups, other religious groups as part of your network. The other thing I wrote here is bring something to the table. Add value to yourself. Bring something. What are you bringing to the table? I employ people, I do interviews all the time. And the question I ask is, what are you bringing to the table? What are we lacking that you would bring? I mean, I wouldn't just offer you a job because you're a fellow Nigerian or you're struggling. I'm looking at the value you can add to me or my organization. So bring something to the table. And I think that starts by adding value to yourself. I was thinking about this recently. People talk about, oh, I'm worried about my visa. I'm worried about the rules will change. I'm worried about this sort of thing. That is true. The rules will change for a fact. The rules will. But the point is that the system will retain those who add value. Make yourself a person of value. Don't worry about the rules. Don't worry about what will change. New government will come, new things will change. But the thing every system needs is value. Add value to yourself. Don't be where you were last year. Keep reading new books, keep going on new short courses. Add value to yourself and be intentional about it as you do so. The next thing I wrote here is that persevere. There will be tricky times. Persevere, there will be tricky times. At different junctions, there will be times to persevere. No matter how long you've stayed in the system, there will be, they say with every new level, there are new devils. So as you rise up, as you try new things, there will be different things to push towards. So keep persevering. The next thing I wrote here is keep your options open. Keep your options open. What I mean by keep your options open is that, I've met people who would tell me, Mr. Benga, my plan is to live in the UK for the next 15 years. That's a good plan. But I then ask them, what if this is not God's plan for you? What if God's plan is for you to be in the United States or Canada or Dubai? If your options are too fixed, that is UK or I die, then there's a problem there. Keep your options open. That's why for me, a lot of my business is in Africa. I never talk down Africa. 89% or 90% of my resources comes from Africa in the work I do. Uh, don't talk down on your nation or even your continent. You never even know that might be where God is sending you to go and deliver that nation. So keep your options open. And I drive that home because I know there are people who've made great sacrifices to be here and they've said, I've invested a lot in being here. But I believe God who's created you will never mismanage your life. So keep your options open. The next thing I wrote, I'm almost coming to the end, is service, volunteer. Even in ARUNSA, I'm sure there are positions, there are things that needs to be filled. Volunteer. It's not just about what I can get from the system. What can you give to the system? It's not just about what I can get from the system. What can you give to the system? Just last week, I was invited to lead a new initiative here in Cambridge, and I jumped on it as a volunteer. It's one of the global Christian business network. We're opening a chapter in Cambridge, and they said to me, "We're looking for a director." And I said, "I'm here. I'm here. I'll do it." They're not going to pay me. It's going to take my time, but I realized that benefit that will have to my network and to my progress as a person. So don't always look for things to be paid. I know we have bills to be paid. I know we have things to do, but serve. Serve in your church, serve at university, serve in your synagogue, serve in your mosque, serve in your university. Find service opportunities. Let's not lose sight. I know we need to make money, but let's not forget service. Position of responsibilities. Take position of responsibilities. You know, Even if you're in a society that there are only 6 members for now, find a position of responsibility. Why? It looks so beautiful on your CV. It shows we can give you responsibility. Find places where you can serve. Once again, ARUNSA gives us an opportunity where we can serve and do things. And the last thing I have here is, and I think the pastor said it, join a community. You see, you can't do this race on your own, particularly when you're a minority. You need a community. You need a community. It's important that you get yourself plugged into a community. This is a community. A church is a community. Religious organizations are a community. But get yourself in a community. Don't be a lone ranger. Don't be somebody doing life by their own. Get in a community. The final thing I have here, and I think other people have spoken about this today, is don't run before you can walk. Don't run before you can walk. What I mean by that is, I think very often people set unrealistic expectation. Somebody here just moved to the UK and I want to do this, I want to do that. And the point is, why don't you take baby steps first? Of course, as people of faith, we believe in divine speed and all that, but I believe there's something in the process. I still remember this day, my first job was at Kentucky Fried Chicken, East Road in Cambridge. I still pass by that place today. That taught me customer service. That taught me how to speak to British people. That taught me how to understand their mindset. Imagine if I just came for Africa and I wanted to go to the top. There'll be a challenge. So don't despise the days of small beginning. Don't see those jobs you're doing, oh, it's just care, it's just this. There's something in that care job. Oh, it's just social. I'm dealing with people with mental health. There's something in that place. Oh, I'm just working in the kitchen. There's some experience there. Look for it. Like gold, it's not on the surface, but there's something in that position that if you look deeply, you'll find. And finally, this is the final thing. Don't stay too long where you should be temporarily. There are these jobs we do that they're temporary jobs for a season. Let's ensure we don't stay too long in those positions. Let's ensure that what should be a training ground doesn't become where we spend the rest of our time. So, for example, you may have come into this country with a goal. This is what I want to become. Set some landmarks by this time, by that. The reason is that very often, and I'll close on that, people give up on their dreams because of their current circumstances. People give up on their dreams. I know people went to university to read a particular course, but they got a job in care, for example, and they thought, I'll just do this for the rest of my life. But that's not their calling. So please, whatever that dream is, keep it burning on the side. Don't let go of it. You're an IT person in your country. Don't let go of it. Keep it going. And I'm sure the same God who's brought you to this country will give you your own portion of the land. Let's not forget the God factor. Without God, everything else we've spoken about is almost impossible to attain. The scripture says, with God, all things are possible. And all things includes your thing and my thing. Thank you very much, Mr. Andrew and the group, for giving me this opportunity. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was so massive. Please, however you feel about that, please just drop it on the chat. He cannot disappoint, and he has never disappointed. In terms of encouragement, in terms of saying the right thing, in terms of directing us to the right path. And of course, it's not the one that will push you to the five. When it comes to time of help, he will, I know, he walks the talk as well. He will be there to stand. I can't, it's just being me modest. I can't count the number of students he has stood for, in terms of getting accommodation, sticking his own neck to ensuring that they secure their accommodation in Cambridge. And I can't count the number of things. He has been a strong backbone to this association. And of course, I really appreciate you. You can't disappoint. You will always. I believe this is just the beginning. And we will continue to work together. We will call you next time. So don't get tired of us. And I'm very sure you're not going to get tired. So it's a great pleasure to have you. It's a great honor. These are wonderful men of God who do not just say things, they put an action behind it. So thank you so much, my brother, for that wonderful piece. Our time is fast spent. The next person not yet on the call. That is the all-knowing Nana himself. I believe he should. Let me try to reach him. He has been on the road and he wants to be. He's such a person that whenever you call him, no matter the same way, my brother, whenever you call him, no matter what he's up to, he's more than willing to help.
How are you?
Just a moment, I'll try to reach him. Interim, we will be on the music break.
People with one song, with one voice, we're a nation and voice. We will take us down and build our land in faith to defend what is ours. Here we are as a people with one heart, for one cause, where the time to rebuild and restore. Where freedom reigns and truth prevails. Our land where there's hope for us all. Our land where there's hope for us all. We'll defend our land. We believe in this nation, and we know we'll get there. We'll defend our land. We believe in Nigeria and the promise she holds, and that one day we'll shine like the sun. We're a great nation. Though we are many people, different tribes, different tongues, we're united in our strength and resolve to uphold the honor of our land and for generations to come, and for generations to come. We'll defend our land. We believe in this nation, and we know we'll get there. We'll defend our land. We believe in Nigeria and the promise she holds, and that one day we'll shine like the sun. We're a great nation. See, we only have we'll defend our land. We believe in this nation, and we know we'll get there someday. Can somebody sing with me? We defend our
Don't
land.
just be using other nations as
We
this
believe in this our nation, Nigeria, and the promises she holds for us. And someday we will shine like the sun. Oh, from the north, south, east, and west. Somebody say, if you believe to the say, we'll defend our land with all we have. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, say we are, yeah.
he won't commit what Professor Lumumba said, the greatest sin
nation. Yeah. Ooh.
So apologies, we're still waiting on the next speaker, and it's another friend of the family, and if not the closest friend anyway, because he has helped so many, including myself, when I was coming to this country. He was there to ensure my CAS process was smooth, and he has always been there for many, and even when here, he still continues being there. And he happens to be a Ghanaian. That's the funny thing about it. He has never acted like a Ghanaian. He has always acted like a Nigerian. And of course, that gives us inspiration that we are all one and we will continue to work together. That's why we work with ACS, both in Chelmsford and in Cambridge, to see how we can all, the purpose is to unite us all, and it can only make us get better on this. He has promised to join us in the next 1 or 2 minutes. Then after him, we can call it a day. He's been on the emotion, but he cannot say no to this family. So this is why he has never even said no. Anytime you need him, just call him. No matter what he's doing, he's more than willing to drop it to be part of it. So please bear with us. It's so much inconvenient to him, but I know he is more than willing to give his convenience for everyone. So he has already joined us. Like I said, he is someone who is ready to give up. Another person who I wish would have been on call is Vincent himself. I've been going around, I've never seen this kind of human being before. Someone who is we started together, and I know he went through a lot. That's why he understood the purpose of this, and I believe we also do as well. He will leave his room for Nigerians who are just coming to come and sleep there. And this is the kind of persons we Hello? So it's my privilege to welcome my brother who just recently confirmed. So this is another way to congratulate him. And his PhD was just confirmed. Now it's Dr. Nana Adam. Please, it's not just Nana Adam, it's Dr. Nana Adam. He's been working with ARU, and of course, he earned his PhD in ARU while working. And like I said, he was part of those who even myself helped when I was coming into the country concerning my in cars and stuff, and he has been there ever since. He's such a person who's ready to give up his comfort to anybody, and that's what he's doing right now. This is so very inconvenient to him, but he doesn't care about the convenience. He's ready to give up his convenience. Anytime you call on him, he's more than willing to answer. And I can't count the number of students when you are a Nigerian student or African student also, because he's the chief international manager for ARU, the whole of Africa. So if you're an African student, you come in, you can always count on him for help at any time. So it is my pleasure to hand over the mic to my wonderful brother, Dr. Nana Adam. It's a great honor to have you. These are great men who gave their time to be here. So it's a great honor to have you. Please bless us with your wonderful word the next few minutes.
Thank you very much, Andrew, soon to be doctor. It's not out of place at all if we start calling Andrew Dr. Andrew. All right, and a very good afternoon. Thank you all very much. And I'm grateful for the congratulatory messages. I am really grateful. And it's been a wonderful session we've had so far. Andrew, I think, and I want to take a moment. Idris, thank you very much. Rachel, thank you very much. I also want to take a moment to truly appreciate the works of Andrew. So Andrew joined us about 2 years ago. And before he joined, we did have a Nigerian Student Association, but it wasn't really active. It was more me, myself, and I, everybody doing their bits, you know. So it wasn't a very strong knit group. Thank you, Chioma. And then boom, Andrew shows up, and then he was super passionate, and I'm really glad seeing what I'm seeing. In fact, this to encourage you, Andrew. So now I'm having Kenyan students, I'm having Ghanaian students reaching out to say, want to replicate ARUNSA. And I'm like, wow, okay, you need an Andrew amongst you then to make it happen. So yeah, once again, thank you, Andrew, for holding the fort. So I would want to, mindful of time, I know we're supposed to close at 3, and apologies, I'm on the road. That's why you see me with a seatbelt on. I want to keep it very brief. I'm sure you've heard so much for today. Just 3 things I really want to touch on. 3 things, because these 3 things are very dear to my heart. And in my time with Andy Ruskin, I get students come every now and then, with repeating this repetitive challenge. So number 1, I truly want to encourage you. Please, don't be late with your assignment submission. It's very often also too many times our students reach out, I missed out on my assignment, the deadline, what do I do? It gets very, very complicated. It gets very messy if you leave it too late. If for any genuine reason they are, you are sick, or they are extenuating circumstances which will mean you'll not be able to complete your assignment on time, please reach out, shout, speak to your faculty, alert them. Don't wait till the deadline is over and then you are now running for help. Avoid it. Number 2, please, your tapping, the tap out. Make sure you do tapping, because it's a way compliance do monitor the tap-ins and the tap out. So it's very important that number 2, you do that from a compliance point of view, from a UKVI point of view. You don't really want to mess up with your UKVI record. It's very important. And then lastly, the 3rd point, again, that's very, very dear, very, very dear to my heart. Again, I'm saying this dear to my heart, these 3 points, because these are the common areas that are most often every year. I have several students chasing me assignment, they did not tap in, and therefore, they are struggling. The 3rd bit would be, if for any reason you've not been able to, you're having a fee challenge, right, and you are struggling, please speak, alert myself, alert Andrew, let me be aware, let Andrew be aware, and then let's see what we can do. Don't wait till it's last minute. By all means, if there's a genuine challenge, I'm more than happy. I'm more than happy to, to reach out to finance, reach out to authorities involved, and speak, put a case on your behalf. What we don't want is you leaving it to last minute when, it's almost impossible to do anything about it. Yeah. So this, for me, these are the three things, the three takeaways. In addition to all that has been said, I know a lot has been said for today, and I don't want to bore you. I don't want to bore you. I don't want to. I don't want to. It's been a long day already. So these are the three things I want to leave. And by all means, if there are any questions, I'm ready to take any questions. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you so much for so
Please
sorry about
unmute.
that. So sorry, I didn't know I was still muted. So that was a great one, short, precise, and of course, it's powerful. These are three things that people run, my brothers and sisters, we've had, and we are still having. Of course, we pray that such testimony should not be our portion. We've seen so many testimonies about this. I've been in a panel where I have to sit I didn't have any choice, although not Nigerian anyway, but from someone from another country, I didn't have any choice than to agree with the panel and the school authority that the person has to be sent back, withdrawn from school. And I don't pray that this is a portion. I don't pray this, and this is why we are coming early to inform us about all this. If you have any challenge, please speak out as soon as possible before it becomes an issue. Some of the major issues are just what he noted, and there are so many of them. Finance, your assignments, they don't take it as a joke here. And of course, the kind of assignment you submitted, and he said it the last time, that's about plagiarism and stuff like that. We are not in Nigeria in the game that we can bring anything and submit it to them. You are even going to submit to a computer through turning it in, which you tell where you got it from. So if you are still struggling with anything, please, as early as possible, speak out. The school just recently, and someone I love so much, was just asked to leave. But given the support that was available, thank God, the school has so many supports. We had to just ensure that, and thank God, our case is being attended to. So we don't want it to get to this stage. Accommodation is a small problem which can easily be solved. And that's why we are linking with so many people from the community to help those who have been here decades before us. But there are greater challenges, and I pray that none of us shall experience such. We will give a great testimony about this school and, of course, about this country. So someone said, there's a question.
Andrew, sorry, Andrew, before we take the question, sorry. I needed to add this as well. I think, Andrew, you remember last year, I did raise this, and it's something truly on my heart, and that is the underrepresentation of our kind, our people with the student union and even with the faculties. And therefore, I truly want to encourage every one of us, please, when it comes to, to the student union, with the elections, the faculty reps, please, let's make sure we push ourselves out there. Look, you would have noticed it, but our Asian colleagues are really out there, so much so that if you notice it very well, the student union officers are all Asians. Yeah. And this is, can you imagine, Andrew? 5 years ago, it was all English whites, right? 5 years ago, it was all English white, and flip the dial around, and today I saw Asian, because what Asian decided to do was they were going to come together and really push their own right up there. And you know what that has done to them? Last year, one of them had an issue with one of the lecturers, right? They went right up to student union, the executive, and they managed to come together with one voice when they all spoke the same language. And today, unfortunately, the lecturer in question is no more, because they spoke with one voice and they made sure they had the right people in the right authorities, and they were able to push their case. So, in a nutshell, please, and this is a passionately hands-on act. Make sure, please, if you can, let's reach out, make a push out the faculty reps, student union reps, and let's, for those of us too that are not planning of standing for election, let's support those that are, so that we can have voice and representation right up there. Thank you. Sorry, Andrew. Sorry,
No. That was equally important. We've sent it on the group. We continue to encourage. I spoke with the president, Munib himself. We worked together to ensure he came into the office, and he has been so helpful. He has been a wonderful friend to the family as well, because he recognizes the effect of Nigerians in the numbers. So he said one thing, that before, nobody talks about Pakistan, nobody even recognizes Pakistan, but because he is a president and he's a Pakistani, now everybody's talking about Pakistan. So the same thing, it's not really a problem on anybody's side. The only way we can recognize is when we have a representation there. And the more reason we continue to encourage. And of course, so we won't just be complaining this thing is happening. We will have someone to push forward that complaint and be able to, and thank God, I keep saying it, this is not Nigeria, where they will meet your complaint or deal with guns or what have you. They will meet it with, so far it has numbers behind it, they will meet it with listening here. And the only way we can get that is to ensure that we have enough representation. When I was attending the school authority meeting, each time I get there, I was there to represent different nations, but the number one nation that is on my heart is my country. So they've turned, anytime I want to talk, they know I'm talking about Nigeria. And I can only bring that in because I was there. So we need as many people as possible to be able to, all the challenges we are talking about will become nothing if we do that. So it's so important. Please, a question, Idris, the floor is yours. Please ask the question you want to ask before we go.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for this session that you put up. I'm a new member of the society, and I just want to say a very big thank you to all the speakers. Also, my question without wasting time is that for some of us that arrived late, is there any tip to better manage our time? Because you want to like personally develop yourself, you want to join societies, you want to focus on your studies, and you still want to do part-time job. In prioritizing all of these things, is there any secret tip that you can give to some of us that arrived late? For example, me, I arrived on Monday and I have assignment, I still want to join society. So my question is there any tip for us to better manage ourselves and still come out in flying colors? Thank you.
Can I, Andrew, do you mind me taking this question?
Please go ahead.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. That's a really good question. So in my experience with this role, I do notice that students who come a bit late, in your case, you just arrived last Monday, tend to have a bit of a catch up to do when it comes to settling in. So let's keep it easy and straightforward, right? Number one, your focus for the next 2 or 3 weeks should be settling, catch up with your academics, right? So settling in, i.e., get your BRP, blah, blah, all of so settling with your documentation, bank statement, that bank open your bank account and all of that. That's what I mean by settling. Number two, focus on your academics, right? So catch up any assignments, any group task that you may have missed. Make sure you catch up on those. Only after you are done with that should you start actively looking for part-time work. Because see, if you're unable to get that priority in place, and at the moment you're running for part-time work, it will be a struggle and it will become a cycle. If you're not careful, it will be difficult to break. So number one, documentation settling. Number two, catch up, bring yourself to speed with academics. Once you are up to speed with academics, then the good news is I keep on saying, and I keep on encouraging international students, there are so many jobs out there. So many, trust me, so many jobs out there. So look, there are so many fishes in the sea. The idea that you may not have a part-time, if you don't apply it, look, don't believe any of that. There are so many fishes out in the sea. So focus on one settling, focus number two, academics, then focus number three, your part-time work and all of that. And then once you have a grip of 1, 2, right? Once you have a grip, as Andrew, I think Andrew summed it up, academics to focus speed. Once you have a grip of these, all other things will begin to fall in place. As I'm sure some of us might be Christians, as the Bible says, the pleasant what do you call it? They fall in the pleasant place are falling in the right place or something like that. So once you have a grip of these two, all the others will begin to take shape. I hope that makes sense.
A lot of sense.
Yeah, I have a question, please.
Please, before you on iPhone.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Please, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Senator. I attended the get together yesterday with Mr. Andrew at the Students' Union.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. Actually, I want to speak about the election of Ifeanyi. I don't know if the issue came from me personally, because I actually, showed interest in applying, in contesting in the election, because right now I think the election is over now, I think. But the problem I had with the issue was that one, we are outnumbered in my department. The Nigerians in my department we are outnumbered. You can imagine a class of 30 students having only not up to 6 Nigerian, others are Asian. So that's number one. Number two was that even the platform I applied to contest for as faculty representative. But the issue was that when I tried to check whether my profile was on the platform, I could only see other contestants. My profile did not come up, and it was already late because I got to know about the election like few days to the deadline. I don't know if, and I think the election now is even over. So if they will be going to another election, I don't think it will be any time soon before my program is over. So that's the issue I think I have with the election personally.
Thank you.
Okay, please go ahead.
Andrew, if you don't mind, I'm just answering the first question, okay, and then Andrew, you take over. So on the first question, right, the good news is I'm happy to from where I see it, let me share this with all of you. So about 2 years ago, for us, we're enrolling about 1,000 Asian students. We're doing about 200 Nigerian students. The good news now is that the tides, the pendulum is now changing. Well, it's slowly coming along. It's slowly catching up. So for everyone who's just joined us for this September, right, I'm happy to encourage you and to let you know that we welcomed over 400 of you. Over 400. Wow. Whereas a couple of years ago, it was like 200. So you see, the numbers from Nigeria is increasing, which means, and as you know too well, there is strength in numbers, right? So and for me is to say, if we can even come together beyond the faculty level. I'm talking of for me, I'm looking at the big boys, i.e. the student union, right? So beyond the faculty, and I do sympathize with you, because at the faculty level, you are a minority compared to, say, the Asian students. In that regard, there's not much that we can do. But we can what we can do is to translate that at the at the at the student union level, i.e., when it is time for new student union elections, let us all rally together. Whoever will stand for it, let us rally. My point is, if we cannot win the faculty level, let's at least aim for the student union level, because now we have the numbers. The good news is now we have the numbers. So if you add on the over 400 that's just joined this intake, remember the existing students like Andrew, right? They are those who joined us in January. So top of my head, if you are to add up all Nigerian students presently in ARU, if I'm not exaggerating, we're talking about, Andrew, if I'm not exaggerating,
Okay, sir.
maybe 600 or
Hello,
700.
sir.
Hello. Yeah. So the good news is we may not be able to, at the faculty level, if the numbers are against us, don't worry. Let's rather translate that, that strength into the student union level, and then support whoever amongst us that will be going for it, or anyone amongst, it could be just the Nigerian student that joined in general. Let us all throw our weight behind that individual to make sure that at the student union level we have a representation. Yeah, thank you so much. Andrew, over to you, sir.
Thank you for that wonderful addition. So even add to that, I said it that the present presidents, if not for our help, is not to boast or what have you, he wouldn't have been there. He approached us, he's a Pakistani. It has always been Indian, of course. He approached us, and we together as a FAS, two societies will collaborate. So if you have intention of running, even in your faculty, there are maybe people you don't know that are Nigerians, just reach out to us. And of course, not just Nigerians, we can also reach out to other societies to see how we can collaborate to ensure that the same way we did for Munib to become the president, we can always do it. And like he rightly said, the numbers are getting higher and higher in terms of the Nigerians, and he recognized that the Nigerian numbers are huge now. So they reckon with this society, and they are not going to take it like, because they've seen the testimony that someone who became the president did how he did. So it's not something you need to be worried about. But like you were trying to say, I believe there are still positions that they may still be opened, but because there are still positions that people didn't signify interest in, which we can always ask them, if you are still interested in pursuing that, we can talk together on that, and whoever is. And if not now, because you just came in, it's something you can take your time to study what's on ground. And of course, if it's a higher post, you can always suspend that is if you are much interested. There is a way you suspend your studentship, because they believe that the time, if it's a higher post, there is a time you will spend, you need it's a full-time work. Vice presidents, president's post, they are full-time work and they are paid full-time. So it's something they will want you to suspend your academics for that 1 year that you're going to run it. So if you think you want to do that, but at this faculty level or what have you, please, you can't do it alone. You just have to inform as many Nigerians as possible, whether they're in your faculty or not. Who you don't know, someone else will know. So it's the better thing to work together, and just let us know is what we can always fashion out. If Fesinachi, do you still want to ask the question?
Yes, I still have some questions.
Please go ahead.
Okay. My question is, I actually wanted to know, is it possible for someone to switch from one particular campus to another? Like, I'm coming from London to Cambridge. Is it possible for someone to switch campus? One. And then I think the second one, the first guy that asked question said something like, but I want to ask another ask question around it. I resumed late. Like, I resumed one month after my classes have started, and I'm still trying to find it difficult to move on with classes because the course I'm studying is IT, and I didn't do that in my first degree. Though I have just little experience on it, but I'm still finding it difficult because we have codings, we have a lot of coding to do, and I'm still trying to find it very, very difficult to catch up with the classes. This is my second question. The third one is, why is it that now students are finding it very difficult to get employed? Most of the agencies, when you meet them, they'll tell you, yeah, if you have 20 hours in your BRP, we're not going to take you, blah blah blah. I don't know. These are the three questions I have to ask. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Andrew, do you mind if I take number 1 and 2?
Please go ahead. Please
all
go
right.
ahead.
So number 1 is you are looking at changing your course. Can I
Not
double
course,
check?
campus.
Campus, is that right? So which
Yeah.
campus are you and which campus are you looking to switch to?
I'm in Cambridge. I'm asking if I can switch to London campus. Is it
So
possible?
unfortunately, the answer to question 1 is a no. Reason being, the London campus, they run very limited courses, and IT is not one of those that they do at the London campus. If you check the London campus, you see a lot of business related courses, and then 1 or 2 social care courses. But you know IT, no. The other thing to also note is that the London campus, we've franchised it. So for someone, for any Anglo student who comes to the main campus, if either you are in Chelmsford, Cambridge, or Peterborough, if you're looking to join the London campus, it's a no if you didn't do that originally. Does that make sense? Because they run a franchise. So we franchise the London campus to a company, right, who do run it. So the processes, they've got their separate admissions team. The processes are very complicated. So unfortunately, it's a no. Um, even if you are sought to, even if that was not the case, they don't run IT related courses there. So that's one. Number 2, and I really want to take advantage, and Andrew, I think there's something that we need to look at for next year. You know, there is a reason why we keep on encouraging students, come early, because see, the first few weeks are very crucial to one settling in. You know, so you come in, some may have accommodation issues and blah, blah, blah. So the longer you delay, the more difficult, it becomes with the students settling in. And I'm so sorry you are having a bit of a challenge because you had missed about 3 weeks. Given that IT was also not your first degree, I can imagine how tough it is for you to catch up. 2 things I would suggest. Number 1, please reach out to your course leader, your lecturers, and your tutors and say, look, and be very. The trouble is, like many of us, we are so polite. We are raised up to be very polite, right? Even sometimes to our own detriment, we are very polite. Even when we are dying, we are still very polite, which is a good thing. But sometimes it has its own. It comes with its own wahalas. So what I would encourage you to do is reach out to your course leader, reach out to the faculty and say, look, I came 3 weeks late. I am really struggling. Because what the module leaders and the faculty and your course leader is supposed to do is then to arrange, right? It could be extra materials they will send you, or even arrange a separate catch-up session. It could be 10 minutes, it could be 20 minutes, it could be an hour to say, you know what, given that you're struggling, you've missed a few things, how about us meeting for an hour and then we touch base on it, and then they're also supposed to share some extra materials with you. So if you haven't done that, please, next week, speak now. Don't wait till it's too late, right? Speak to module leader, the faculty, and say, look, I came 3 weeks late. I'm really struggling. I've missed a few lectures, and I'm all over the place. I need a bit of a support, a bit of a catch-up session. Yeah. So that will be my answer to the second bit. I'll be very surprised if you speak out and the faculty in 10 says no. Just there's nothing, I'll be very surprised. In that case, let me know, right? Then we have a case to push, right? But yeah, so do that. And then lastly, with jobs, I'm not too sure. I mean, I think it might be, I don't know. I think it might be geographical. I think it might be to do with a particular area you find yourself. But generally, I'm not sure where are you based? Which area are you looking for jobs?
I stay in Enfield, London. I stay in
Okay.
Enfield,
Okay,
London.
so you are in London. So I don't know, maybe it might be to do with the Enfield area, but typically I'm sure Andrew bear me out. I mean, in Cambridge, there are so many jobs. In Chelmsford, there are still jobs around. So it might, I don't know, it might be a good idea. If you're struggling, if after a while you're still struggling, and if it's at all possible to change locations, look look for an accommodation close by, and come give that a go. I would say, yeah, try that as well. So yeah, that will be my response to the third question. I hope that helps. Andrew, over to you.
Thank you for that wonderful answer. If I may add to that, number one, on the campus, if my knowledge is right, I think London campus is for home students. And when we invited the president from there, the person of Adebisi Sasi, she's an home student. I said it the other time, she's been in this country she grew up in this country. So I believe, if I'm right, London is for home students. And on the
so, Andrew, yeah. So it used to be, but we are now taking on international.
Oh,
yeah,
great,
yeah.
great. That's great.
But it's just mainly business and care related courses.
Oh, great. On the catching up, please, like he rightly said, you have the right to approach whoever your course leader is. If there is no response, you can always reach out back so we can know what to do about that. It's better to do that early now, because if you now come after the whole courses, they will count that as excuse. If you come this early, they will count it as you are serious, you really want to learn and you want to acquire. So it's going to be you are going to meet a positive response, I believe. And on the job, when we were having a program yesterday, someone said something similar. And on that spot, Danielle responded that she has never experienced such, but there are so many people who have been having jobs. It just depends on the location. Enfield is, I think, it's at the east of London, I believe. So it might be due to the location.
Actually, Mr. Anderson, sorry to cut you in. Even here in Essex, I think I also had the same problem, especially when the agency gets to know that I'm a student. They don't really want to give job to 20 hours, visa holder, because they prefer someone that will be on a standby or for longer period, for longer hour. So I think that was the same issue I had, and I'm just lucky to have this one, and based on the fact that my aunt know the person personally, so it was not easy. I won't lie to you, it was not easy at all.
So can I think that's right. But so what I'm noticing is, so where you've got like Cambridge, like Chelmsford, Braintree, where the agencies are familiar with students. There are some agencies are not too familiar with students. So with geographical locations like Enfield, and that they are not too familiar with students, you potentially that's where we tend to get these kind of responses. But for Cambridge, for Chelmsford, and you have a lot of these agencies, they are used to, because you have majority of students around. So that could be one of the factors that's driving this. But on the whole, I think it's to just keep on pushing. There are those that are saying we don't take 22 student hours. Well, look, those that do take on the student hours, there are several of them that are desperate. So just keep on pushing, keep on knocking your head, and trust you me, something will come up.
Hello, sir. Sorry for cutting you off. I think if you have anyone you can actually recommend us to. Well, if you
Yeah.
have companies, agencies, you can drop their number with us or tell them that this. I don't know, like I'm desperate. Like I was
Sure.
like,
Sure.
what is going on actually? It's
Don't you
really
worry.
it's really uncalled for. I've met like 4 different agencies, and they keep telling me they won't take students. You know, so
Don't
and they
you
Four
worry.
agencies,
also
you
have
say?
I have bills. I have bills to pay. I have a lot of things to do. I don't know how I'll even be able to manage. And by January, dependents can come. So these are all the
Yeah.
whole issues that we really
Don't
need
you
to
worry.
look.
So what I'm going to do, but the majority of the agents I'm used to are within Cambridge and Chelmsford. Would that be okay?
Sir?
The majority of the agents that I am familiar with are within Chelmsford and
In
Cambridge.
Cambridge.
Would that be okay?
Yeah, if no problem. Let me
Okay,
see
all right,
anyone. If it
sure,
is someone
that's
I
fine.
can.
That's fine,
To
no
even
problem.
add to
Consider
that,
that.
please, you can just drop a message on the group. I will pick it up. Those 2 people who have talked before now, they are more than willing to help on these issues. So it's not really a problem. And for someone who said he was lucky, you are not lucky. And it's not as if you have a sister. If you had stopped pushing, of course, you won't get a job. Though I don't think there are any people here who have stayed long than say they didn't get a job. But to add to that, my sister wants to have something to say. Sister Olayinka, please go ahead.
No, I was just going to add the answer to what Pastor said. But I think his sister mentioned that she's tried 4 different agency. 4 different agency. I would say that you should keep trying. And sometimes because of your location, sometimes too, it could deter you from not finding a job that you might want. So you might need to expand your territory slightly a little bit. And then what kind of job are you looking for? Is it where they have a that are short staffed? Are they currently looking for 20 hours? So because obviously you sort of have a niche and you're a student as well, you still need to study. So the flexibility might not be there. So that might be the reason some organizations are saying no. But don't let that stop you from knocking onto another organization. So you need to, especially Indeed will be helpful. Go on Indeed. And also if there's agencies, for example, now I work within the health and social care. So that is where I sort of know people, organizations that are recruiting. So and most of them are in London, some of them are in outside London. So if you are looking for a job within the health and social care sector, I might be able to help in that area. And I can recommend some website for you that might be helpful for you later on. So anybody that wants to work within the health and social care sector could contact myself. Thank you.
That's great. That's so massive. She she's more than willing to help. And of course, those other 2 people who have, she's manning London that you're talking about. Mr. Lubinga, she is in Cambridge, and the pastor we just had, that one is in Chelmsford. All of them are more than willing to help. Please just reach out. We'll see what we can do about that. That's not really a problem, I must say. And what the word you just used is the desperation. That's why and I understand bills are there, but it doesn't mean it's a problem. It's something that God will take care of. And when I mean God, I'm not talking about just leaving it to God. God will use human beings here to take care of it. So without time is fast spent. I believe we're supposed to stop at 3, but the questions, of course, we just have to say what we have in mind. And if you have further questions, please reach out. The group is there. Just say your question, I can pick it up, or you send a private chat. It will be more than a pleasure to answer it. So without more ado and longing our time, before we go, please, I would like us all, someone said something and I really love that. I would like us all to switch on our camera so we can take screenshots. We're talking about networking, and of course, you can't network behind camera. You have to see the faces so you'll be able to know, I've seen this face before. So please, let us all switch on the camera. Yomaf, Kenny, are you there? Ozzy, G, Luani Femi, and Rookie.
Yes, sir, we are here.
Great. Please switch on your camera.
I'm here.
To see you.
Oh, okay. Let me do that now.
And you can unmute to say hello. Let us see those beautiful faces.
Hi, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the
family,
session.
Kenny, G, Oluwani Femi, please switch on your camera.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was really
so
thank you.
great.
We will take a screenshot so we recognize those faces.
Yeah, this is
that
Kenny.
so you can see me well.
I'm Kenny.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
I can always put those faces.
Yeah.
Whenever we see.
Would you share Pastor's email address or contact?
Yes.
Or do we get the
No
recording
problem.
of this session as well?
We will do that.
Thank you so much.
We will send the recordings as well.
We'll be needing the
and then, of course, I would like to the person who started this, Nipriya, is our governor. We are all youths. So I can see these faces. There is no.
I have a little thing to say, please.
Our time is fast spent, please. So he's more than willing to welcome us to. We are talking about connection and then network. There is a platform for all youths. So it's also, if you want to join, please just let me know. You can always add this. This is the governor for the whole of Europe. It's a National Youth Council of Nigeria. It's a body that has been existing for decades, since 60s. It's in Nigeria now. We have the Europe version. So if you want to be part of it, it's more than willing. And I would like him to say the final prayer. Then we close the day. You want to say something? Please, you say it's 1 minute, please. Before he says the final prayer. Who said you wanted to stop? Okay, there's none.
Yes, it's just like a suggestion. Okay, my name is Chi Bujochoma. It's just like a suggestion.
Okay.
Okay, getting references for us, the new students from our home country is something they find it difficult to do, these employees. So if we can have a forum where we can have our referees from the UK.
Don't worry about that. Those are no problems. We have many great men on this platform. And I must tell you, I can't count the number of people I've written reference for. So just reach out. And the pastor, even who just left now, just told you he has hundreds of people he has written, and we have so many great. Just reach out anytime you need anything. If it's I told you this is a registered association, and it's so many people have got their job through the reference. So we have so many people that don't bother yourself about those in Nigeria. You already have a family here. Just reach out. Whatever the problem is, if we are going to solve it or send you a pointer. The most important thing is, and that's the grievous sin you can commit, is to keep mute or to give up. Professor Mulumba said, don't commit any of those crimes. Don't give up anything you're pursuing. He's talking about Africa, but we are talking about ourselves here. Don't give up on anything you're pursuing. So my brother said he was lucky, you are not lucky because you continue pursuing. So, and don't ever give up. And don't ever keep mute. You're not going to get anything in this country, in this school, if you keep mute. Whatever the problem is, before it becomes a big problem, say it out. We will take it up. So I would like to stop the recording from here and let's hear the final prayer from our wonderful governor. We call it a night. And if you have 1 or 2 things to add in the next 1 minute, 1 or 2 minutes, please. My governor. You are still muted. If you are talking, please unmute yourself. Or you are unable to talk, Governor?
Are you calling on me now? I'm sorry, I was talking.
Sorry. So please.
I was talking to my friend.
Hey, hi, that's our wonderful wife.
We are cooking. I'm sorry. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
Father, thank you once again for bringing us here. Thank you for the successful lecture today. Thank you for what you have been doing in every one of us' life. Today, Father, you have given us a sense of belonging. You have bring us together to really talk about life and future. May all what we learn here today be on our knowledge in Jesus' name. Every plans of the evildoers, every plans of the bad eggs, Father, remove them away from our life.
Amen.
Father, don't run into trouble as we are Ghana, as we are different, so our needs are different. Father, come and meet up to our name of Jesus.
Amen.
I come against every principalities, every spirit of setback in our life. Those who are seeking for job, Father, provide them job and
Amen.
in Jesus.
Amen. Amen. That's so massive. So thank you for being on the call. Just stay tuned. We will be sending for those who are talking about the game links or what have you. We'll be sending those links. We will send some links about the information you need to know about the school, or videos, links to videos that you can watch that will catch you up on so many things. Just keep watch. Or no, we know that there are so many chats on the group. Just ignore if you are not interested in those chats, just ignore it. Scan through it. In the middle of it, you see the information that we paste. I don't go there to chat. I go there to send information. Please watch out for that. It will be useful. And of course, for those who have talked, if you need their contacts, just reach out. We will be more than willing to. And whatever help you need, please speak out. Good evening, and make sure you have a wonderful rest of your weekend and a wonderful week ahead. So bye for now. We'll see another time.
All right. All right. Okay.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you so much. God bless you. Bye, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Andrew. Bye.
Tell that lady that the number she brought. Please, Andrew.
Yes.
Tell her the number she gave to us, Ebony, we don't accept Nigerian number.
Okay, no problem. I will let her know.
For platform. So please let her know if she has to join. She has to join with UK number.
Of course, I will let her know. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you, our mentors. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My hand is still up.